Welcome to the Black and White Table Talk, where we slow the game down and talk about what lives in the gray. In episode 1, we talked about why we officiate and what makes us continue to do it, a little bit about how we make decisions in real time and how important angles are in our games and how having better angles helps us make better calls. Today, we're going to take a couple of steps back and macro steps back, really big steps back, and look at the game from there. How our angle and our perspective of the game changes depending upon our role. Most of the time, we stay in the same role. We're either a parent, a coach, an official. It's rare we change.
Yeah.
This guy, he's changed a lot. He's been in many different roles. Our guest today has lived in this ecosystem from every angle imaginable. Player, coach, parent, assigner, referee, and he's got the rare tag, the rare ability of being he's a tournament director too. He's made decisions, enforced them, assigned us, questioned them as a parent, as a coach, and now he's relearning things to become an official in a brand new sport. This isn't about right or wrong calls. This is about perspective, because when you see how the game looks from so many different angles, you start to understand why respect and empathy and accountability matter more than any single angle or any single moment. And with that, I would like to, the episode is One Game, Many Hats. And with that, I introduce Phillip Haynes.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for being here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
You too.
This guy is extremely versatile. He's a rare one. He's a state championship football official, national championship basketball coach, a tournament director. I don't know how many tournaments you put on. Hundreds, thousands, maybe in the thousands. Maybe in the thousands, hundreds for sure.
Hundreds for sure, yes.
And he's a world-class person and a friend.
Appreciate that.
You're my family. So I really appreciate you for being here. You're my brother. Jamie Kern Lima talks about having intentional friend circles that support you and encourage your growth, friends who recognize your value and support you through good and bad times. And you are one of those men for me. You're one of those people for me. I appreciate you. I've known you for 20 years or more, probably at least. You're just somebody who keeps me learning, keeps me growing, and you also inspire me. So I'm glad you're with me on this second episode, man. It's an honor.
Brother. Appreciate it, brother.
It's an honor.
Yes, sir.
We usually start off with like a really kind of maybe a funny story. You have something in your, you've had so many different experiences. What you have something from a tournament director or an official, something that's kind of funny?
Well, it's funny to me. I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
So, in coaching, whatever case, you deal with a lot of personalities or whatever case. And so, sometimes parents will basically try to take advantage of you. So coaching, so I have a rule, I don't ride kids. I don't pick up or drop off kids, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So the one
from practice or games?
From practice, games, or anything. I mean, that's the parent's responsibility.
Yeah.
So the parent asked me, she's like, so he's basically my star player. She says, can you pick up Evan for the game? I said, no. She goes, why not? I go, that's your responsibility. She said, so you're not? She's like, why not? I said, I may want to smoke some weed on the way there. And she go, you don't do that. I go, you're right, but if I want to, if your son is in my car, you're going to need to bring him back and forth. I can't help you.
I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a reason why you don't pick them up? I mean,
responsibility, once you put a kid in your car, then you totally responsible for him. If I have an accident or whatever case, if I do something remotely not inappropriate or whatever case, I'm responsible for that kid or that passenger.
No doubt about it.
I'm never going to put myself in.
Liability, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, legal liability.
Yes.
And it's something that really now in the age we live in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're quick to get a lawsuit.
Absolutely.
I mean, teachers probably never should be alone with students. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we should never, we have something in volleyball called Safe Sport, and we actually look at you took Safe Sport, right?
Yes.
So, we're trained to recognize bad situations and things that happen. So, hey, man, I appreciate that, and
absolutely.
it's real.
I have girls who work my tournaments or whatever case, and they sit and wait on the parents like, Coach, can you take me home? I go, nope, but I can sit right here in my truck and wait until your parents come pick you up.
No doubt about it. Yeah, so, man. It's the world we live in, unfortunately, has changed quite a bit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hey, so I appreciate that, man. That's hilarious. I know you don't do that sort of thing, but hey, so listen, the next thing we really try to talk about is, and maybe it's from a parent perspective too, as a coach. Is there something that you feel is a misunderstood rule? I mean, so you referee volleyball, you referee football, you referee basketball. Are there any other sports you officiate?
No, basketball, football, and volleyball.
Okay. So what do you think is can you give me one misunderstood rule you think that parents maybe don't know, or from a coach's perspective, coaches don't know?
You mean in the engagement of a game, or just the totality of coach, player, or whatever?
Either.
Well, I think this big misconception is that the relationship between the coach and the player, and then the parent as an overseer. I learned a lesson from a guy a long time ago. It's like, that's certain things called an identity and a role. So if I'm getting on your kid about this or that or whatever case, I'm talking about his role on this basketball team.
Got it.
I'm not talking about his identity as far as, him as a person or him as whatever case. I'm not talking about any of that. And a lot of parents get upset as though you hollered at my kid or you did this or whatever case, but you're not looking at it in totality. I'm not talking about him bad. Yeah. I'm talking about he missed that defensive assignment.
Got it.
Or he messed up the play or whatever case. And I think a lot of parents don't really get that. They just see one perspective. You yelled at my kid, or you yanked my kid out of the game for this or whatever case. Yeah. But I'm only talking about his role with what we're trying to do as a team.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I coached for just a brief period of time, and I wasn't good at it. I mean, it was something that it was hard, motivating and, kind of. So I've been a part of a couple of the roles you've been in, but I mean, is that, I didn't really have trouble with parents so much. Mm-hmm. Is that the most challenging part, you think, is parents?
It was initially for me. Yeah. However, as I went on coaching, because I carried a lot of teams from like 4th and 5th grade all the way up until they graduated. So I ended up having a good group of parents. There's always ones and twos or whatever case that you have to deal with, but it's only because they lack of knowledge of how things actually go. And in the same token, this is my kid. I'm looking out for him. Yeah. I'm gonna defend.
Did you have specific rules for your parents or anything like that? This is part of what I wanted to get into to really the big main story is the many hats you wear, right? I mean, and we can just delve right into the coaching part, because I think that there's an adversarial relationship between officials and coaches, and I'm not sure why. Yeah. Like, we want to get the call right, as officials, and you want us to get the call right most of the time, right?
Absolutely.
But maybe not when it's against you, or is that? Would you say that's safe to say?
That's very true. And because I've been on multiple sides or whatever case, I used to tell my players, this is all a learning process or whatever case. Officials, you miss layups, you miss free throws, you miss defensive assignment, but you want this guy or this young lady to be perfect. Tell me where that makes sense at. So,
do you explain that to your parents and your fans?
Yes.
Okay, so I read a book. It's called the Matheny Manifesto, right? Mm-hmm. By a guy, catcher, St. Louis Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable book, man. Game changer. It was a viral letter that he sent out to his parents. He was just retired from coaching, from playing baseball with the St. Louis Cardinals, and concussions, and his kid played Little League baseball, right? Mm-hmm. So a couple of years, parents were asking him, hey, can you coach our kids? And blah, blah, blah. So he said no. Right. And finally got bugged enough that he said, okay, I'll think about it. Right. But he brought all of the parents of the team over to his house and read them a letter. And the letter starts off, I never thought I would coach. I'm paraphrasing. I never thought I would coach
Right.
unless they were a group of orphans. Because you, the parents, are the worst thing about youth sports.
Right.
That's what he said.
Right.
I mean, it's like a 5-page letter. He said, this, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be my way. But listen, Phillip, this is the thing that he said. He said, I don't want you as a parent to say anything to your kid during the game.
Right.
Like, just sit on your hands. I don't want you to cheer them on. I don't want you to say, good job, hustle, run. What are you doing? Nothing.
Right.
Don't say anything.
Right.
He said, because I'm going to put enough pressure on them during the game, and they're putting enough pressure on themselves that they don't need you to pile on more.
Right.
Have you, how do you feel about that?
I love that. I just wondered how did it work out for him.
Man, the guy. So listen, and this is what he said. He said, if you can't adhere to my rules, then I'll help your kid find another team to play for. So he was kicking kids off the team.
Yeah.
If you call and ask me why little Johnny didn't play,
yes, you gotta go.
Yeah, I'm gonna find you.
I had an old school coach who was similar like that because he said, once you do that, then the relationship is broken. And he's like, I will never be able to bring your kid back into the fold because mom and daddy voice will always outlast my voice.
Man, it's unbelievable, man. It's I've tried to invite several coaches and parents. And I've seen teams that actually adhere to it. I mean, they're like, it's almost like they're reading a newspaper, bruh. I mean, they'll bring, a book and they're just sitting on the sidelines.
Right.
They're silent and and I'm like, I think one of the clubs here, and if you can, if you have a 5-7-5 club team in volleyball, I know you do volleyball, notice and see a guy named Jeff. he's one of the club directors. He's the one who told me about the book.
Right.
But I think some of his teams really adhere to that philosophy and they coach to that philosophy.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing. But so getting back to, some of the different hats you wear, some of the things that, you're responsible for. I think part of what how do you handle all of them, man? It's just crazy, man. Is the game different based off of the role? It has to be different based off of what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So tournament director, how do you flow with that, man? Because, and you're a signer too, right? You assign the officials.
Yes.
It's a multi-court basketball tournament, right? Multiple venues. How do you, can you tell me about that? Just open it.
Well, from the tournament director perspective, it's all about making sure that all the teams have an enjoyable experience. When you putting the schedule together, whatever case, you just try your best not to make sure that a team is not playing at 9 in the morning and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. You try to butt them up, whatever case. Not always perfect, but based off of restrictions, this, that, and whatever case. But I love organizing, so do the tournament, do the schedule, whatever case, then based on the schedule, then you start to book officials accordingly per court, try to get them in the same area, whatever case.
Yeah. Geographically, same area.
Try to look at, if this guy had an issue with this or whatever case. That's really not enough time to do that all the time, but you try, things like make a mental note of that or whatever case.
So you're saying you try to pair, coaches that are with the teams that are playing at your event. Yeah. And you want to make sure that you have an official that is capable of, refereeing or managing that coach, right?
Right, because it may not even be about the call. It may be about how you manage him on the sideline because you already know what you're going to get going in and be like, well, I can't put this young official over here. I got to put 2 experienced guys over here so I know they will not allow him to get away with some of the stuff that a younger kid would or more inexperienced kid would.
Got it.
Or a lady.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you as an official, you bring that experience in. Do you have guys that just call a lot of technical fouls?
Yes.
I mean, how do you handle that as a tournament director? How do you handle, coaches that complain about officials and, stuff like that? How does that play into?
Well, the first thing is that I need to understand the magnitude of the game, because very rarely if you find a winner coach complaining. Mm-hmm. It's always this team who's losing, getting beat bad or whatever case. So, I listen, take into account whatever case, and then said, hey, I will talk to the official. And then, not all the time, but most of the time, after you get to know coaches, sometime I go and say, tell me what happened in this game, whatever case, da-da-da-da, so I can understand. And then as an official, I go, well, maybe if I offer you a different perspective of what you could have done to minimize that, then this wouldn't be so chaotic at the moment.
Yeah.
Or either I'd be like, oh, I understand, you did all you could. The coach is just being the coach.
Yeah.
Whatever case.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, do you look at a lot of film?
I do.
Yeah.
I look at a lot of film because I was a coach.
Yeah.
So, but while looking at the film, because I'm trying to gauge what the other team is doing, I always notice what the officials are doing as well.
So, it feels like coaches, and I don't know if this is it just feels like there's a manipulative part, right? And my thing is that something that, you're coaching for the next moment, or like, do you feel like, do you do that? Do you know, is that something that you are trying to play a head game with a ref and you know what I'm saying?
I don't do that, but I understand it, because everybody's trying to get an edge or whatever case. I want my kids to perform at the highest level that they possibly could. I don't want them to get something for something that they didn't work for. I want them to be able to walk off and be like, man, we won that game because we tricked this ref or this. No, I want you to say, I won the game based off of my skill set and based off my discipline and based off my performance.
So what is a strategy thing for you as a coach? Like pushing all the right buttons, and Absolutely. So it's a chess game. You play. That's the lure for you is
figure out this player, how you take this away. What's the advantage when we coming back down on the other end? Yeah. And I get it. It's some extremely good coaching out there, especially in the Cobb Cherokee area. Basically all over.
Yeah.
But there's some bad ones too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's some bad ones too, though.
So what do you think about, and I've been thinking about this too, right? I feel like we as officials, most of us go through some training process, right? Most of us go through, clinics and camps, and do coaches have to do that?
They don't have to do that, but some do that.
Yeah.
They don't have to. You can just, normally, especially with this travel ball stuff, people say AAU, but AAU is an affiliate. Right, it's travel ball.
Right.
It's just like, okay, I got all these teams. Okay, can you coach? You know what I'm saying? And then they may have played or may not have played, or they may have done rec ball or whatever case, and it's travel ball. There's no joke.
Yeah. There's so many teams, so many games now, right? When I was growing up and playing, I don't even think we had AAU back then. It was small teams. You almost were handpicked, right, to be on an AAU team, right?
You were handpicked.
We weren't traveling anywhere. Maybe an AAU championship somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
But, I know exactly.
Man, we're like these games. I'm going to Boston this weekend, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you came back from, where were you last weekend?
In New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yeah, so we're just the ability to travel and see so many different, plays, games, teams. It's unbelievable now.
Yeah.
So I think, and it's part of what I believe part of the solution is that, my parents were educators, but I think coaches should be educated, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But I think coaches need to go through part of that evaluative and kind of fed it out. Is that a good word?
Yes, absolutely.
And the same thing with parents. I think that there needs to be some type of education clinics. We got to take clinics to do high school. Parents maybe should need to take clinics. Or
I wish there was some kind
of
way that every parent should be able to officiate a game.
Oh man! So that's part of the reason why you are so valuable, right? Yeah. Is that you see so many different hats, and that's what I believe is crucial for us. Is as many different angles from the macro level, right? I mean, if we could get the parents that are the most vocal, the most invested in the game, if we could just have them be on the court for a quarter, 1 quarter, referee 1 quarter, because they call in the game pretty good from the stands,
right?
And what do we say? We never missed a call,
right,
from the stands.
I
ain't missed one at all, and I've never won a game. But I mean, you think maybe we should set a program up like that?
I would love it.
And I think in Texas, there's actually some places where if it's in baseball, if a parent complains, they have to ref or umpire in order for their kid to stay on the team.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I love that.
It's crazy, man. So tell me about the officials, man. I mean, like how you officiated football were you doing basketball too it was here in Georgia when you had the state championship, right?
And football.
Football and basketball?
I did a state championship in basketball. I did one football.
So
I did 4, right?
You did 4? Yeah, well, I know you're multiple state championships, which is pretty rare, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's an honor. You're the best of the best if you get there. That process of getting selected in football is pretty rigorous. I mean, there's tape review. Did you have the same crew for the whole? Do you remember if you had from the inception of the playoffs all the way to the state final? It changed back then?
It changed back then. Now what they try to do is they try to let you go all the way through the playoff. If they kind of like put you on the radar and think that you may do a state championship game, now because what they do in the first couple of rounds, they have mixed crews. And so the quarterfinals, semifinals, or whatever case, the same crew association, if you think you're going to get a state championship game. So you have some type of chemistry or whatever case once you get to the state championship.
Yeah. That communication, I mean, is critical, right? I mean, with and I think familiarity with what your guys are going to call, your ladies are going to call, is really, really important. What were you? What position were you? White hat?
I was a linesman. I was a linesman. Yeah. And I knew my deep. If I worked with him a lot, I knew what my deep was going to be, and I knew what he was going to do. Yeah. And vice versa with me, and then obviously on the opposite side as well. Because if you work with them a lot, then you understand, how they work or whatever case, and you come to expect certain things, and you be able to talk and communicate. Yeah. Even if you make a mistake or whatever case, you can,
So you as a linesman, you handle things like at the line of scrimmage, right?
At the line of scrimmage, yeah.
So the most misunderstood rule or play in football, what would you say as a linesman you think is misunderstood by parents and fans the most?
Well, the line of scrimmage, like, if a defense jumps offside, then regardless if he jumps outside, that's dead ball.
Got it.
They too busy watching the pros. They jump as long as the offense doesn't react to it, they can actually get back or whatever.
Got it. So in high school, once you cross the line of scrimmage in defense, the play's over.
It's dead. It's over.
And what? That's a penalty on the defense, and what is it?
Well, I mean, there's a penalty on defense, 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty.
Yeah, repeat the down.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. So what do you think is a misunderstood rule that parents have, or even other coaches have, as a tournament director, your experience as a tournament director and a coach, your peers, do you feel like there's a particular rule that they misunderstand?
Over the back. Yeah, he's over the back. And then first of all, there's no such thing.
Right.
And they don't get, what do you mean there's no such thing? There's no such thing as over the back.
Right.
I would like to explain it to you, but it's not, they don't really want to learn or whatever. Because we over the back, you hear it all day long.
We need a rule book. We need to we're definitely going to break that play down. We're going to have some footage of that play in particular coming up. But that is definitely one of the most misunderstood. And really, that play in basketball is going to be a pushing violation for us, right? Absolutely. Because you're dislodging the player in front of you, and you're getting, the ball.
Yeah.
Like your behavior, your physical action disadvantage the player in front of you to get the ball.
Yeah.
So there is no over the back, because really you could have a 7-foot player, right, and a 5-foot player, and they're over that 5-foot player's back, but they're not touching the player to get the ball.
Well, in the same token, you could have the same height player, and kid's got a ball up here, and kid's behind him, and he got a ball up top, whatever case. He didn't dislodge him to be able to gain advantage of the basketball or whatever case. He just so happened to put the ball in the wrong position.
No doubt.
And just because you got two players back to back, it's over the back. Right. It's over.
So what do you coach your kids in that situation? What do you coach them to do?
I need you to get low.
Yeah.
I need you to get low and make it obvious.
Yeah.
But if you're going to stand there flat foot and wait on the basketball to come to your hand, don't be telling me nothing about it's over the back.
Right.
But number one, you're not fundamentally sound, and you get what you get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, in that situation, we talked about a couple different plays, angles, and I think parents and coaches sometimes just see the backs of something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if you could spin that around and see that there's all this space in between.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's just about angles, right? Mm-hmm. And I think you as a coach, as a tournament director, as an official, you have a unique perspective of looking at those things and those plays, and saying, this isn't right.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do you do when we kick a call? How do you respond?
I normally don't.
Wow.
I normally don't. I mean, if you come up beside me, I may say, what did you see right there? And some are receptive to it, whatever case. But then you learn the officials, and you learn he don't know or she don't know. So why? I'm sorry. So she don't know. So why am I wasting my time trying to do that? My job is there to coach my team and try to get them to the best advantage, whatever case. A lot of people may not think that's true, but I really don't argue with officials. I mean, you probably seen me before.
I've seen you. I've had you before.
I just sit there, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. I was expecting, and some coaches who are officials, they poke an official's, they'll poke the bear, right? I mean, what did you see? Why are you doing this? And they'll almost dare. And you're a ref yourself.
Yep.
They will dare another official to, punish them or whack them or sanction them. I mean, it's crazy, man. And I'm like, is winning that important?
And plus, they act like the person on the other side is not human. Mm. And you keep agitating these people, you're not going to get anything out of them. Why wouldn't they get an attitude? If they did it to you, you would get an attitude too. So it's like I said earlier, they act like this man or this woman doesn't have the same issues. They off work early, trying to beeline to the gym, and I tell people all the time, you try to do this without these guys.
Thank you.
And see what you get.
Thank you.
Try to do it without.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, we are human, man. Yeah. We're going through the same things that everybody else does, right? I mean, it's really something that I think most of us lose sight of as parents, as fanatics, and we make mistakes too, right? I mean, that's the part really that I think is really important for us to kind of digest.
Yes.
Is that we're human, so we're gonna make mistakes, right? I mean, it's just a natural part of the game, and I feel like our mistakes are magnified so much, right? I mean, the expectation is that we are perfect, right? We never miss a call. So how do we overcome that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my mentors told me, it's like I mentioned to you earlier, it's like sports officiating is the only profession that people think they can come off the street and think they know more than what you do and what you've trained to do.
Yeah. And just watching it, right? So much. I mean, there's so much focus and emphasis. I think, because of the salaries and all of that stuff, it just, it just so much media and TV.
Absolutely.
So just tell me a little bit about volleyball. How's the season going so far?
Season is going. I'm new to volleyball. I don't know what I don't know, but I'm studying and I think I'm getting better each time out. I'm just taking those different experiences, positive and negatively in a way to just improve. But I absolutely love the sport and wish I had gotten into it earlier than I have. But I appreciate y'all inviting me.
Man, we love it, man. We're glad you're there. We're glad you're here. If there's anything I can do to support you, man, I mean, I'll be more than happy. I know you're putting the work in. I know you're volunteering. You're down reffing. You're becoming an R2. So just keep that energy, man. Keep learning. Keep the open mind. I know it must be different being an expert, at basketball and football, and then kind of just jumping back into, volleyball, something brand new.
It's a little different.
It's interesting. It's a different culture, right? It's a different community.
Absolutely.
And I think all of us as officials, man, we want to support each other. So that's one thing I love about volleyball is that, the community is so supportive. It's just great.
I have a bunch of guys who reach out to me, help me understand or whatever case. I've never had that in football to this magnitude, football or basketball.
Yeah.
But it's just like everybody want to see each other grow.
Oh man, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
It is.
It's the model sport for me, and it's some of those things that happen in volleyball. I really want to have those things be a model for football, for basketball, for other sports. Absolutely. Because it's so tremendous, man. The organization, officials have to go through that process. We got to, go through modules, clinics, and all of that stuff. So, I mean, there's no sport like it officiating wise from my perspective, and from the parent and fan perspective too, because the parents are going through all of those things too.
Absolutely.
Right? So it makes a difference. So I got a game I want to play with you, man, and I just want to see how you would respond with your different roles, right?
Okay.
So we got a close game. We got a basketball game. It's really close. Championship, probably, lots of fouls have been called during the game. Tense, you got good officials out there. You got security there. Last second shot, maybe a foul, game winning shot, so how do you handle that from a tournament director's perspective? Like, is there anything that you do different in those situations?
No.
You just let it play out.
The court belongs to the two or three officials.
Got it.
It belongs to them. I can't say that they didn't see what they saw. I can't say that. I have my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's their game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna always support them. The losing team is gonna be mad, but I understand that.
Yeah.
But
people gonna come up to you though.
They're gonna come up to me.
They're gonna talk to you about it.
He's awful.
Why did you?
He's awful, and that was a foul. That was his judgment.
Yeah.
That it was not a foul. So I can't tell him.
Do you ever say anything? You always. You support us. I know that. I don't even need to ask you that. Because you've been in that position, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know how that goes. So what about from an official standpoint? If you are, let's say, you think there might have been a foul or there might have been something, if you're on the court, how do you handle that?
If I'm on the court and I see it and I think it's egregious enough, whatever case, outside of that, I may make a phone call or something. Mm-hmm. And if it was egregious enough, it's like, hey, we got to be better in that situation. Yeah. Maybe your angle was wrong, or if you'd hustled to the spot more, and you'd had a better look, or whatever case. That was the most important play of the game.
Yeah.
How are we not in position at that particular point, or whatever case. People who wants to get better, they're receptive to it. People who don't come to make $30, $35, they don't.
And you know those people.
I absolutely do. Yeah, know those people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of learning and growing too, right? And it depends upon where you are in your journey, right?
Yeah.
So as a coach, how do you handle it? If you think there's a foul, you're like, there is a foul here.
Right.
Like what,
The last second shot?
Yeah. Are
Probably going to the handshake line.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's a wrap. It's wasted energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can have my own thoughts about whatever case, but in the same token, because nothing's going to change at this particular point.
Yeah.
So I can get my emotions involved in it, and I can, go do something stupid,
Right.
or whatever case, and then I got these 15, 16, 17-year-old boys looking at me saying I can throw a temper tantrum, and then they think they can do that here and out in the streets, and then they can get, something terrible happen to them. So I just try to lead by example. I ain't always been perfect with that, but I try my best to lead by example. Hey, it is what it is. He missed the call. We got to live with it. We got to be better tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one play, right? I mean, we hate that we miss calls like that. Yep. in that situation when there's no time for recovery.
Yep.
But it's all about angles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just really is. It's about where we are.
Yeah.
So we got a couple plays that we want to talk about. Just take a look. This is a basketball play. So what do you think about that play? Travel? No travel?
Well, ball was loose. Ball was loose, touched by another defender, and he was falling to the floor. And then he threw it and kicked it off his foot. So he never really had control of the ball all the way through the floor in order for the constitute travel, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what would you call this? What would you call that?
To me, it's a play on. You may be able to get, though it's not.
It's a play on, right?
To me, it's a play on.
Yeah. Because in order for it to be a travel,
right,
you have to have possession of the ball.
Absolutely.
So for you, if you're fumbling the ball,
right,
which is another misconception,
yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't travel. So we wouldn't give a kid a timeout, right?
Right.
If he's doing this, we couldn't give a coach a timeout.
Right.
So this play is definitely a play. I call this ugly.
Yeah.
I just call it ugly. I don't call it a walk.
Yeah. And then
right.
I guess he felt that he just needed to call something.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but he's definitely not a travel.
And we do feel like that at times, right? I mean, because fans are probably saying he's traveling, he's traveling, he's traveling.
There's a lot going on,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole lot going on. I like for us to have a little discipline, a little more disciplined whistle there.
Absolutely.
On that play. So take a look at this play, Phillip.
Mm-mm. I got no catch. I got no catch on that.
It hits the turf, bro.
Exactly.
So take a look at from this angle. Look at where the ref is.
Yeah, he's totally out of position. Totally out of position. He's not even on the goal line, which is where he should be. He should be over there. Well, no, wow. Look, now you're looking for help. See, he never made a signal. Now you're looking for help. Yeah. No.
So they're saying touchdown, bro.
No way in heck.
I mean, what do you see there, man? I mean, what do you see?
I got no catch. I mean, I got somebody got to come in saying no catch. Yeah.
The ball hits the ground.
Well, it hit the turf, man.
Right?
Okay.
So there's no way it can be
right.
Okay. You think they thought it hit a player and then?
Well, probably so. Maybe thought he bounced off a foot or something.
So can the white hat or anybody on the line come in and say they saw that ball?
They're not looking at that. They're not looking at that.
Not.
You got probably a couple of the lines and maybe looking. The head linesman or the line just may be looking, but they shouldn't be if there was stuff underneath. But the deeps, if there was 2 or 3 of them, somebody should be able to catch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, man. I
mean,
that just was almost too obvious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, ball hits the turf. We got it. The play's over, right?
Yeah, the play's got to be there.
Okay. Yeah. So, hey, I appreciate you for being here, man. It's really been a pleasure, man, talking to you.
You too.
And we're gonna have you back for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you.
No doubt about it. One of the things I think we've learned today, hopefully, is that the game doesn't change that much, but our seat does. Our perspective does. I've always wondered, and you mentioned this, what it would be like if fans thought, or coaches thought, what if it was my son or daughter, husband or wife, mother or father, was an official instead of a player?
Right.
Would they be so quick to behave that way towards them?
No, they wouldn't.
I mean, the way we're treated sometimes. I mean, I want that fan, I want that parent to put your son or daughter, take them out of the playing spot,
Yes.
and put them in as official.
Absolutely.
And I think when you've been in enough chairs, when your role has changed that much, I mean, we really stop assuming the intent, like I want you to lose, and we start understanding
Right.
context better,
Absolutely.
experience better, angles better, that we are human. And we really just want to do our best and not disadvantage a team or a kid or a
Absolutely.
player. We're just trying to do our best, right?
Trying to get it right.
I mean, respect becomes less about agreement and more about perspective. Accountability becomes something that we all share,
Absolutely.
really. And it's not just the person who's calling your games. I mean, that's what this table is about, right? Because we understand how the game looks from a lot of different sides, a lot of different angles. And if we have different angles, we don't make better calls, we make better games.
Yes.
We get better people. And I thought that was what the point of the sports competition was in the first place, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's about developing character. It's about, working through adversity and learning how to lose, learning how to win. And I think that's hopefully what we bring to the black and white table.
Absolutely.
Every week is just trying to get better.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for talking.
Absolutely.
And love you, man.
love you
And
too.
much respect, man. So
Absolutely.
I'll see you pretty soon, I know.
Much success.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.